We are gonna take a trip down memory lane, my favorite lane. I'm a food stylist. I make food look beautiful and photo ready for cookbooks, magazines, and ads. I'm gonna show you how I food style a cherry pie to make it look even better than the picture on the box. First things first, we have to make our pie. 9-inch pie plate, classic, not deep dish, not 9.5 inches, 9 inches. And for the bottom crust, since nobody's gonna really see it, I'm gonna use a pre-made, already packaged, refrigerated pie crust product. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how it tastes, it matters how it looks. So I'm fitting my pie crust into the pie plate, and then I'm tucking under the extra pie crust. This adds volume to the exterior crust, which will help when I go around and flute the pie crust. There's lots of different ways I could crimp the pie, but I really wanna do it in an old-fashioned traditional way. So I'm gonna take my 2 fingers, my pointer finger and my thumb, and then my knuckle, and just pinching with my pointer finger and my thumb around my knuckle. All right, it's just as simple as that. So now I'm gonna set this aside and work on my filling. For my cherry pie, I'm gonna use canned cherry pie filling. Again, a pre-made product is sometimes even better than anything that I could make from scratch. I'm going to separate the cherries from the gooey pie filling. That way, when I go to fill my pie, it's all cherries. Instead of filling my entire pie with fruit filling, I'm going to put a base of instant mashed potatoes on the inside of the pie. The instant mashed potatoes allow me to put the amount of fruit filling on the top of the pie without there just being so much moisture from the filling. You're never gonna see this part, so that's why it's okay to use. Who doesn't love a mashed potato cherry pie? I have an even layer of mashed potatoes in the base of the pie, so now I'm gonna go back and add my cherries on top. I'm making sure to cover up any traces of the mashed potatoes underneath the cherries. I also want my cherry pie to have a slight dome on it. The cherry pie is filled, so now I'm gonna work on the top. I particularly like the look of a lattice top cherry pie. That's what I'm gonna do today. This is a homemade pie crust. Since this is the top crust of the pie, I have a lot more invested in the way that it looks when it's finished. In order to make a lattice super even, it's really important to make sure I measure out each strip so that each lattice strip is the exact same size. I'm gonna guide my fluted pastry wheel with my ruler and pray. This is hard AF. So now we're gonna start latticing the pie crust. So the first thing I wanna do is make sure that I am leaving a strip empty in the middle. So a lattice is essentially weaving the pie crusts together. Okay, so my lattice top is laced together. So now I'm gonna go around and trim off those extra long pieces and just go around and tuck in those pieces a little bit. The last thing to do before I bake off my cherry pie is to brush the top of the pie crust with egg wash, which I already have made. How convenient. So my egg wash is 1 egg yolk to 3 tablespoons of water or thereabout. Well, I think this pie looks absolutely gorgeous and it's completely ready to go into the oven. So I'm gonna bake this pie at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes and see how golden our crust gets. Fresh from the oven, but not really. This pie was baked earlier today to give it plenty of time to cool. There's no way that I could get a clean pie slice out of this pie without it being completely cool. I'm using my pie server as a guide. This is about the size of the piece that I want. I'm not just gonna take my knife and slice into the pie without giving myself a guide first. I'm gonna take this X-Acto knife and follow along with my ruler as a guide to make an initial cut on the top pie crust. Now that I have a general idea of where my pie slice is gonna be, I'm gonna go back through it with my knife. Okay, bear with me, we're taking the slice out. I know what you're thinking. This is obviously not the cherry pie slice that you're used to seeing, and that's because of the line of mashed potatoes. I'm gonna go around the face of the pie slice. The face means that's the part that the camera or the audience is going to see. So I'm taking my tweezers, I'm gonna pick off these little crusty bits that don't look like they belong to anything. And then also, I'm gonna scoop out some of the mashed potatoes and stud whole cherries from our cherry pie filling into that spot. I'm also gonna take out cherries that were cooked in the pie that look a little bit overcooked and stud them with a fresh cherry. Even though you can still see that the mashed potatoes are there, since I took some of that away, the crust is slightly coming apart. So what I'm gonna do is take a petroleum jelly product with my paintbrush and place it between the pieces of crust and press it together. We're just like fixing cracks here, you guys. I'm finished with my pie slice. I think it looks really great. You can't even tell that there were mashed potatoes in the bottom of this pie. And I definitely think the crust looks much better now that I sort of like pieced it back together with that petroleum jelly, huh? Yeah. All right, so now it's time to clean up, transfer to our beauty photo setup, and add some finishing touches. We have this beautiful photo setup. It's just inviting. It's like you're at grandma's house or not. Maybe grandma's house is dingy. So for our finishing touches for the pie, I'm gonna take some baking spray and just coat the top of my pie slice. Give that a little brush over just to get any of those bubbles off of there. For the final touch, a precious little dollop of whipped cream to accompany our cherry pie. This looks great. I really could not be happier with the way this cherry pie turned out. I wouldn't change a thing. Follow Well Done on Facebook and YouTube. And while you're at it, why don't you follow me on Instagram? You can see some more of my food styling. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.